Hi everybody, welcome to Learning Target 15 video 3. We're going to be looking at problems 5 through 8 for this video. So our first steps when we're solving radical equations have been to isolate the square root. Well, technically in number 5, we have done that. It's already started with it being isolated, but there's a square root on each side. So when that happens, we're actually ready to just square both sides right away to get rid of that square root. So this becomes 3x minus 17 is equal to x plus 21. And now we're ready to solve, just like it's an equation, solve for x. So I'm going to start with making my t-chart, and let's subtract x on each side. So 3x minus x is 2x, minus 17 is equal to 21. Then we'll add 17 to each side. So we are left with 2x is equal to 38. Then we'll divide by 2 on each side. So x is equal to 38 divided by 2, which is 19. Okay, so now we do want to check this, even though it might seem a little intimidating with the square root on each side, but we're going to be okay. So let's do our check. We're going to use our original equation, so we need the square roots back. And we are going to plug in 19 for both of our x values. And I'm going to get the calculator ready for us. All right, so we've got the square root of 3 times 19 minus 17 is equal to the square root of 19 plus 21. So notice we've got our 19. And now we'll just start to simplify. So 3 times 19 is 57, minus 17 is 40. So this leaves me with the square root of 40 is equal to 19 plus 21. So that's the square root of 40. So we can keep going here because I know the square root of 40 is going to be the same on both sides, but that's about 6.32. So these work, and check. All right, so using that same idea, why don't you give number 6 a try, and then check in the notes to see if you did it correctly. It's very similar to the one we just did. All right, so let's move on to number 7. So number 7 is similar but different because we actually still need to isolate the radicals. So I'm going to take this minus square root of x and I'm going to move it to the other side by adding. So this becomes the square root of 4x minus 3 is equal, hold on, I'm going to fix that a little bit here. We've got the square root of 4x minus 3 equal to the square root of x. Now we're ready to square both sides. So we are left with 4x minus 3 is equal to x. So we do still we want to solve for x now. This time I'm going to have the variable over on the right side of the equation. So let's subtract 4x on both sides. So that leaves me with negative 3 is equal to negative 3x. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. So 1 is equal to x. And let's do our check. So we've got the square root of 4x minus 3 minus the square root of x is equal to 0. So let's plug in 1. So 4 times 1 minus 3 minus the square root of 1 is equal to 0. So 4 times 1 is just 4 minus 3. That would be 1. So the square root of 1 minus the square root of 1, well, if you wanted to try this in your calculator, is obviously just 0. So 0 is equal to 0. That works. All right, and if you would like to go ahead and give number 8 a try, go for it. I am still going to go through this one with you, and then that will be the end for this video. So Similar to what we were doing mostly on the other page, there's not a square root on both sides this time, but we still want to get the radical by itself, meaning the square root of x minus 5. So let's subtract by 7. So that leaves me with the square root of x minus 5 is equal to 5. Now we can square. So we have x minus 5 is equal to 25. We'll add 5 on each side. So x is equal to 30. Let's do our check. So use your original equation. All right, and 30 minus 5 is 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. And 5 plus 7 is 12. So 12 is equal to 12. So our answer is 30 because our check worked. All right, and we have one final video to go. So I will see you guys for the last page here. Thank you.